can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. She is blessed and praised. Hey Twister Girl, welcome back to Twist and Shout, and y'all already know I am Shar, and today I have a lifestyle slash faith video. Someone commented, and I don't know, the question was related to being a Christian and dating now. And I would like to say that I don't think I am the perfect person to be talking to because marriage and everything is so new to me. However, I will try to lead with the word of God and through the Holy Spirit, because that's the only way you should be teaching and discussing things such as marriage and faith, and obviously combining the two. So if that's for you, stay tuned. First of all, if you are returning, God bless you. I love you. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Although, like I said, I know with me doing DIYs and selling my own products, it can kind of get a little reductant, but I do apologize. But I am making efforts to do things differently, obviously, as you can see. So one of the things would be a Q&A and make videos about what you guys have questions about. And to my newbies, please don't forget to hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up, don't pollute, keep it cute in the comment section, and yeah. So, all right. So Christian dating. I had to write some things down, y'all. 7 points. Y'all know the biblical number 7 is completion. So I said 7. And guess what? When I was writing, stopped at 7. Now, there is always those nitpickers that say, well, what about this? What about that? Listen, obviously there are some, like there's a tree that has branches and the branches have branches. So obviously this thing cannot be narrowed down into one video. Please bear with me. I'm only going by what I know and what I have experience with, and what literally probably would change anybody else's lives that actually can talk to, such as you guys, young and old. All right, so the 7 points roughly are, number 1 would be God fearing. Listen, if that man don't fear God, he ain't gonna care 2 cents about you. And you may say there's a lot of nice people who don't believe in God. Then are they really good? Like, if someone is literally saying they don't believe in God, they don't have faith, and yet you do, how can 2 walk unless they agree? And the Bible is very clear about sin and filth, how someone dirty and filthy can make something dirty, because before you can make them clean, you'll get dirty. You get what I'm saying? So we have to be very careful about who we choose as far as dating, because a lot of people also look at dating as a playground, because I did. It was just like fair game. Like, this ain't serious. And in my mind, I literally brainwashed myself to say, you know what, no matter what I do now does not count against when I get married. And guess what? Some of those actions or behaviors try to stumble into my marriage because my mindset was this way, and then I thought it just was a matter of just shutting that chapter. That's not the case. Scientifically proven, it takes 21 days to break a habit, y'all. So you have to be careful about how you go about carrying yourself in the name of the Lord, and how the person you're dating is carrying themselves. But like I said, God fearing, it needs to be at the top of the list. Literally, before I got with Jacob, and I had a very abusive and controlling, obsessive boyfriend. I'm talking about, he worshiped the ground I walked on, which I thought was cool. But the reality of it is, he idolized me. It was, you're so pretty, you're so gorgeous, I like your hair, I like your clothes, I like your shape. He was so in tune to me that he did not even think to take care of himself spiritually. And guess what? He was a pastor's son. So that goes to show you, no matter who, what, when, and why, anything could go wrong and be corrupt with a right opening for Satan to come into. So, like I said, my thing is, listen, God fear. Let that be number 1. Don't say, well, he kind of believes he was 7-day Avenger. No. He needs to be Christian. And you obviously are Christian. Both of you can walk and agree, and that's something that actually can be worked with instead of being worked against. All right. The next one I have is finances. Forgive me if I do reference a lot because I actually went to college. I graduated 2013 and I graduated with a bachelor's in criminal justice, and I dabble in a little bit of business first because that was my major, but y'all know how that go. But anywho, statistics show that most marriages end because of finances, and whether it be the lack of or disagreements about. And I can honestly tell you, if I can be very transparent, that's one of the things that we hit a wall in the beginning, and it was like, whoa. And literally we were talking about saying, you know what, we're not seeing eye to eye. And literally got to the point we said, well, maybe you're not for me. And it's like, okay, maybe you're not for me. And just to give a snippet of how that can be a problem, you have men who have changed their mindset completely from being the breadwinner. And now going into 2020, it's like 50-50. Do I think that's biblical? No. I don't think any number counting is biblical, if you want my honest opinion. I think it's a matter of circumstances. Like, when me and him were working, it was like, okay, he paid what he could, I helped where he couldn't. Okay? And then when I got out of work, it was obviously, all right, I'm obviously doing 100% on the finance because you're not working, but how can you make my home life more comfortable, whether making sure my work clothes is straight, making sure dinner is on the table when I walk through the door, making sure the house is clean, making sure you're not, nagging me, or whatever it takes to make that house peaceful. So again, this can go a wide variety of ranges of finances. Like, literally, y'all, like, this could be the make it or break it of most marriages, whether you're saved or not, because statistics back this up. And a lot of people assume that infidelity is number one, but it is not. Because there's a lot of people who are open and agreeing with infidelity or adultery as long as they don't bring it home. Like, there's so many different mindsets and mentality towards that is no longer number one. And I don't think it has been number one in a long time. I think finances has been the number one reason for divorces for a decade now. So look that up. But the next would be children. This is also, believe it or not, and y'all may say, well, you ain't the right person to talk to. Listen, I've been there and I've done that. Children. If you don't know, I have a daughter outside of my marriage. I had her at the age of 18. I just graduated high school, so she is not biologically my husband, but he claims her 100%. He has 2 sons from a previous marriage that are not biologically mine, but we blend and we make this thing work. But it's still taking effort because there's lines that you can't cross. There's blurry lines that you can't really see. Like, there's a whole lot that goes into blending a family, especially if everybody's trying to be active to a certain extent. So I would say make sure you are built to actually come to someone who actually has children. It's not easy. I can tell you that right now. And I am tough as nails. And I can surely tell you, like, if this was not the will of God and I would choose to go in pure, virtuous from the get. But obviously that's not my life. And I thank God that it went this way because I actually can help and teach someone else. So that's not the ideal way because we have different circumstances and things that happen. But if you could help it, save yourself for marriage. Otherwise, these are things that come as a result of people not saving themselves. But children, not only having children already present, but the number or the amount of children that you wish to have. I don't know if anyone watches Married to Medicine with the women who are doctors and then their husband who are doctors, where one of the women's marriage literally almost crumbled because before TV now, it was, oh, we're happy, we're fine, I don't want kids, never really interested, I enjoy other people's kids. And then all of a sudden the husband was like, you know what, I think I want one. And I think I want one now. And she was like, I'm career driven. You knew that. And literally it became a matter of, okay, do you want you to be happy or do you want us to be happy? Because their whole thing was, and anybody say, how come so many people have the mentality that a child will ruin a relationship? Like, that's crazy, especially when you're married. But she was just like, I just don't want kids. And I stopped following that show. So not intentionally, but just out of circumstances. So I don't know what ever happened with that, but that just goes to show you that you need to make sure firmly that when you start dating, you ask these questions. Do you want one? If you do, how many? Because with him, he had two, so he was done. I only had my one, and even with the blended family, I said, no, I want us to have one. And whether he was stubborn as I don't know what, but guess what? The Lord made a way, and we now have Jace. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to be happily ever after if circumstances happen, but the Lord will be done. That's what I say, and that's what I pray. I say, Lord, if it be your will, if not, help me to be okay with it. But that will make or break you too. The next is family structure. That goes back to finances. Like who is comfortable being a breadwinner? Who is comfortable, like whether you want to work full-time, part-time, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom. And I literally seen this on a Christian woman post, marriage post, where a lot of marriages were on the bricks because the man wanted the woman to stay home and she did not. So again, the man, like myself, had the old school mentality, like how I was thinking, when we get married, I'm supposed to have kids and sit home and chill. And he was like, nah, because I don't want you to have kids, and I'd rather for money to come in this house. When reality was, he can and he is taking care of the home with his one check. He just wanted that extra. But the Lord let him know, that it's my way or no way. And I'm not saying that bragging like my way is right for every circumstance. Health. Health is another issue that a lot of people do not take heavily. And even for me, because now I'll be honest, my husband, and y'all may say, well, Jacob, but I have to be transparent. He was not upfront about a lot of his health issues, and he has a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. And not saying that, well, I'll be honest, because growing up with my mom, she always had this saying about being a sickly man or a sickly woman. And it was like a very downcasted thing in our community and in our family to ideally date someone purposely knowing that they are sickly, because it's like, how long will they last? So, he told me a little something. I'm like, okay, that's okay. I can't judge you. But then when we actually jumped over the broom and so many months later, it was like, oh, this is a problem. And I'm like, whoa, and maybe because God ordains everything, right? He doesn't make us lie. He doesn't make us sin, but he knows everything. So he plans everything. So I believe that everything panned out the way it did so that we could be together, because as you can hear from my experiences, that a lot of our thoughts and mindsets were so contrary from each other. Like just night and day, left and right. Literally, we are opposites. Like we couldn't be any more opposite down from how we want our food cooked, how we want it to taste, the weather we prefer, our hobbies, everything was opposite. And if God can keep us this long, he can definitely surely help you find the love of your life. But so he had a lot going on. Me personally, I had some things that seemed to occur and jump on me after I got married. And this is why I need to do a video about this too, because a lot of people believe on spiritual attacks, right? And I'm one of them. I believe that you can be spiritually attacked, like with headaches, with backaches, with leg aches. It is not necessarily tuned to a health issue, because when I go to doctors, ain't nothing wrong with me. Like every time I have a headache or pain, they be like, I don't see nothing. Your heart rate is extravagant. Like they say everything is perfect. And I'm just looking like something's wrong. Like help me. And nope, they can't find nothing. But anywho, that's a whole nother topic. But make sure the health is something that you are okay and ideal with. Check the family history. Is there any mental retardation? Is there any cancer? Find these things out so you know what to prepare for mentally. Another thing would be spiritual gifts. And you may say, what in the world does a spiritual gift have to do with marriage? You will be surprised. First of all, someone being secure in their spiritual gift or not being rebellious about their spiritual gift, you want to make sure that if the person already knows what they're supposed to do in the law or in the church, that they are walking in that manner, like they do know what they're supposed to do and behave accordingly. Because again, obedience is better than sacrifice. Like, you don't want to get in a relationship or a marriage where you have somebody being a rebel and someone fighting against the word of God or against what they're supposed to do in the will of God and bringing pretty much hell over your home. Very important. So, for example, if somebody's spiritual gift is to be a minister or pastor, and somebody done told them, they're like, nah, that ain't for me, I ain't trying to do that, I'm trying to be in the background, in the backburner, I ain't trying to do all that, and they continue fight and they move away from that, you literally open up an opportunity for Satan to come in and just destroy. And we don't want that. The last but not least, love language. Child, this should have been mentioned number 2, because once again, me and my husband are night and day. His love language is gestures. He wants to see love through things that you do for him. So whether it be making breakfast every morning or helping pay on bills, that's him. He wants to see the product of your love. So it's not enough to say, well, I did cook today. He's going to be like, okay, you're supposed to cook. But in particular, I made sure that I cooked the pork chops the way you like it. That's him. Seriously. Like, y'all may say, where in the world? But it's the truth. And for me, I love with feel. So someone just cuddling up with me and just rubbing my head or just saying endearing words, that's enough for me. And you may say that's kind of a setup for disaster too, which all these love language, if they aren't balanced with a Christian sound mind, can set you up for disaster, because looking for someone to do everything perfectly can be harmful too, because there are circumstances and things that can stop everything from being going on, such as health, being paralyzed or cancer, where, okay, that person can't show you anything and you actually got to show and love them. And this is why communication is so effective. Please make sure you communicate. But anywho, that's all my points. There are 7. Like I said, if somebody wants a more relaxed breaking down of this, which I'll probably go ahead and do anyway, let me know in the comment section, because I know that this was kind of rushed and me looking at the time like, okay, this video getting kind of long. But I really want to help people comprehend and understand what it means to date as a Christian. Find love through Christ first, because if you can't love yourself, if you can't love the people of God, how can you love your spouse to be married? Hello. But anyway, comment below what you think. If you like the video, if you want more content like this, I love you guys. God bless. Take care. Bye.